Well, hello everybody. So we're back to this game yet again, and I have some interesting news for you. But first off, I just wanted to go ahead and say that this recording is yet another really fucking off-kilter one, my apologies. On top of the usual, just waiting to be able to put out a upload, all this other stuff, and a couple of things IRL that were popping up that kind of got in the way of it, but either way, it was mostly laziness, I'll be honest with you. Aside from all of that, I tried to do a regular recording today and tried to prepare and beat the Shi Association to be able to try the fucking Big Bad Wolf. You know what I'm talking about. I just can't think of the name off the top of my head right now. But anyway, I decided to do that abnormality battle today, and we actually have gotten through it. I don't have the legitimate full recording, though. I only started recording towards the end of it because I just figured, fuck it, I'm not going through it again. I just wanted to see if the build was capable of taking it down, and it most certainly was. But, again, the recording was just kind of really borky to begin with here. I tried to record today, but there was just so much goddamn noise pollution, and I hate doing any kind of recording where there's shit in the background that could pop up in the microphone. I'm very bougie about it, but at the same exact time, there's a reasoning for it. Here's how I look at it, guys. I don't care that I'm a 600 subscriber channel in any way, shape, or form. It's incredibly fucking unprofessional for me to do a recording and you're hearing other people in my house or you're hearing people outside or whatever the case is, and it genuinely annoys the shit out of me whenever that happens. It's just incredibly fucking unprofessional. And eventually I do plan to get an actual studio and soundproofing and a bunch of other just fun bougie shit to make it just look and sound and everything else, just get the quality of it much better with my videos, but I can't do that right now. I do not have the capability to do it, so I'm just stuck on doing these and just hoping that the rest of the world shuts the fuck up long enough for me to be able to pump out a recording session. So I don't usually record for very long on top of it, so my apologies. I know that this didn't come out where you guys get to see my full reaction, but it is what it is. And then, of course, the cutscene afterwards with Gabora is... I'm not going to voice over it this time. I'm just going to play it as is, and then you guys can hear everything, because the volume is 100% with the recording for it, so you should be able to hear everything just fine, unless I fucked that up somehow, but I don't think I did. So, yeah. Anyway, this is the actual footage towards the end where I started to get it together. I will explain the build in a little more detail in a moment, but I was springboarding off of one of the comments in my comment section. Let me go ahead and take a look. I'll cut the fucking audio here and get back to you in a minute. Ah, yes, but of course. Brother, I wish to purge the heretics as well. Yeah, that's actually the whole fucking screen. Anyway, so this is the fucking strategy that I decided to use right here to an extent. My biggest problem was that I did not have faint memories, more than 3 of them. I haven't grinded that out, and I should, and I guarantee you that your success with this strategy would be significantly higher with faint memories times 9. To be honest with you, because the main reasoning... Now, here's the thing that I didn't know for a very long time. Power doesn't refer to strength. Strength is a very different thing. Strength applies to specifically combat dice that is attacking. Power is just the roll's result in general, which means it can apply to defense, which makes that roll a 4 to 8 evasion, which also then goes up, especially if it's Yujin's page, which could be a 5 to 9. It makes it an extremely potent evasion die, is what I'm saying. And in many circumstances, you can completely outright negate damage from the wolf and then smack the shit out of him with the 2 follow-up attacks. So that is an extremely powerful die because of that opening evasion die that is extremely high rolling, because you are always under 25% health because Yujin's page is just Yujin's page. However, the other thing that's a problem with this strategy as well is because you're using Yujin's page, it also means that a lot of times you're going to have your fucking one broken combat die attacked by a mass attack page, and there's not a goddamn thing in the world you can do about it because you can't intercept those. I really wish that wasn't a thing that happened. It seems to happen to me 99% of the time when using Yujin's page. You just eat every mass attack page that gets thrown your way as Yujin. It's so fucking frustrating, but aside from that, moving on. So the passives that I'm using here, I can pretty much guarantee you are not optimal in any way, shape, or form. It's just what I thought made sense at the time, and I'll explain my thought process with it as we go on. So starting with Yujin's page, I just made sure that I had the Valentin passive that you combine with Extreme Edge that gives you 2 power to singular attack rolls. And the reason that I was thinking of that was because of to overcome Crisis. Whenever that I had to use that with Yujin, there you would basically get an extra, because I'd be using it a lot with Yujin, right? because the minus 25%, you would always be sub 25% health because it is Yujin's page, so you would be using TOC a lot. So that's why I wanted to make sure that I had that card in there, or that passive, rather. And then I made sure that everybody had blunt damage +2, just to maximize the amount of damage dealt. Bleeds and burns are always going to be good because it's extra DOT damage. Why the hell wouldn't you if you can put extra bleeds on the enemy, especially bleeds with this wolf, then absolutely you put bleeds on because it attacks a lot. Beyond that, though, Tenma's page is Tenma's page, so you have that light regen passive when your light is 0. As well as I put on Oink's page in here just to get a couple of extra feebles, because feeble is a really, really, really good, like, enfeebling. I know that that's, like, kind of confusing to hear those both in the same sentence, but I think enfeeble because my day's in Final Fantasy XI, and all enfeeble means is just to weaken an enemy to make them easier to, you know what I mean, it's a debuff. But debuffs are especially really fucking good in this fight because there's just so many rolls that you're dealing with. So if you can debuff as much as you can, it's just going to make it that much easier for you. Especially with the high attack rolls when you get like that triple 4 to 8 attack that he does that inflicts 3 bleed for every fucking time that hit connects. So yeah, feeble is a really good thing to have. That's why I put an Oink's page on that. And so long as you hit with blunt damage, which will happen frequently with the person who's running Tenma, at least the way that I had it set up, then you will constantly have a -1 strength that is on the wolf, so that's always a good combination right there. And then Valentin's page, I wanted to have the blunt damage as well, of course, and again, I put Tenma's passive on Valentin. And the reason being for this, too, is because if you can combine a lot of 2-cost cards, like Faint Memories, that have 3 dice that is pretty fucking overpowering, then you can pretty much guarantee that you can intercept everything that the wolf throws at you. You can pretty much always do so. And it is amazing when you combine those two together, because you will always regen 2 light, so you will always have 2 light to work with, and you can always throw a Faint Memories at the wolf. So it's just like amazing fucking combo from heaven right there to put those together, is what I'm trying to say. I'm getting tongue-tied here, my apologies. So moving to the actual fight, let's go ahead and explain what your thought process should be when you go into this. This can be something that you guys can link to other people to help out with the Little Red fight as well, IMO. Just out of my own personal experience with it, it's a little more vague and less of a direct strategy, but it will help you considerably if you have gone through all of the first level areas to get all of the pages that you need from the current chapter. You guys know what I am saying. Try to explain it better better than what I just did right there, but you get what I'm trying to say. You need those cards from Shi Corporation, especially, and the puppets. But moving on from that, the most important thing that you need to do in this fight is make sure that Little Red is getting attacked as minimal as humanly possible. You need to make sure that Little Red gets as many attacks on the wolf as humanly possible. Not for the damage, not for anything other than specifically she has a lot of cards that inflict a very, very important debuff that you need to remember at all times, which is called disarm. Now, you might not have ever really noticed this, and I know I didn't, but Extreme Edge actually has a disarm on it. I believe the marionette card that I'm using also has disarm on it. You have maybe 3 cards at this point in the game that have disarm on them. What does disarm do and why is it so important? Just in the same vein that feeble is very important because it lowers your attack dice, disarm lowers your defense rolls. That's what it does. It is polar opposite of enduring. Why is this so important? Well, when Little Red has a fucking page that gives disarm 5 on the wolf, what that means is the wolf's counter dice, which is all blocking, is completely fucking nullified. It is almost a nat 1 every time that they roll if you can combine as many disarms as you can, which means free damage, which also means you don't have to worry about the added strength from losing a roll to the counter dice. This is the most important thing that you can think of humanly possible, is not letting Little Red get debuffed by the wolf or bled or anything like that, or bound, because you need her to have her high speed rolls to be able to get those attacks off. And what you also need to do is make sure that her debuffs from her cards are going through on the wolf. That's why you want to make sure that those are one-sided attacks. It is almost... I'm pretty sure that this fight is specifically designed for you to eat all of the pages that the wolf throws at you so that she can just go fucking ham on him and debuff the shit out of it. The only other problem that you have to deal with is basically your mass attack pages at that point. If you can clash and you can win those clashes and you're not just feeding like free strength to the counter dice when there isn't a disarm debuff on the wolf, you will do fine in this fight. You just need to keep it up and make sure that RNG, and it will happen, but RNG will just start to fuck you after a while where you don't have the pages that you need, like what I was doing with Yujin's page, and I have all of my 4-cost cards and I can't do shit with Yujin. It'll happen, but if things roll out properly and RNG just isn't a dick to you, you should be able to have a lot of 2-cost pages with 3 dice to just intercept. Even if you're taking a little bit of damage, it doesn't matter. The point is you need Little Red to get in there. You can get a stagger, even better, but you need Little Red to get in there and debuff the absolute fucking shit out of the wolf so that you can just keep attacking through all of that counter dice. That makes such a difference in this fight. I didn't realize how potent that disarm would have been, and I wasn't reading her pages. And then again, you just need to pay attention to the mass attacks. But you're going to take damage from those mass attacks anyway. But if you can intercept them, go for it. That's why Marionette was thrown into the deck as I did. Now, possible problems with the setup that I did right here. Well, one of the biggest issues is that any 3-cost card didn't really see much use. You see, Tenma's page regens 2 light. Only if you have 0 light at the end of the round and at the beginning of the next one, so you'll regen 2 light. I think it can combine if you do use a 1 light regen card, which is why I had the blunt 2 to 6 0 cost 1 light gain page. I forget what the hell that it's called. You get it from the stray dogs, but that's why I had that in there, and I believe it worked one time during this fight to have 3 light so that I could use automated movement or repressed flesh, whatever is the one that I had inside of Tenma's deck. But honestly, you're not really going to be utilizing your counter dice too much on this fight as much as I would like to, because you're not going to really be getting one-sided attacks because the wolf just focuses on Little Red anyway. But what you're trying to do is just debuff that fucking wolf so that those fucking counter dice don't matter, and that's, again, still more RNG based, but you can also put disarms yourself and increase those chances. Little Red usually wins those fights anyway, at least in the times that I was in there. They might not win on your try. RNG is RNG. I can't really fucking dictate that for you, unfortunately, but this is what worked for me, was doing all of that shit. And just don't forget that Yujin regens 2 light on using a 4-cost page, so you can go ahead and splurge and do that, and then do a TOC with Yujin in that run, and then there you go, boom, boom. So that's really the only thing that I can tell you right there that I have found that was really fruitful. I did 2 attempts using this strategy. I just wound up taking out the TOC pages on pretty much everybody other than Yujin, I think, and I just put in the blunt 1 light regen pages. It didn't matter. You just get these weird lulls where you can't use those 3-cost pages, and that's what the problem is that I'm saying. Aside from that, the only other downfall is, again, the mass attack pages, but you're going to take damage, and you can keep retrying these over and over again anyway, so even if you fail, it's not going to be that detrimental. My nails just flicked off my keyboard there. My apologies if that was super loud, but eventually it should work decently well, so long as Little Red is still hitting. And also make sure that Little Red kills the wolf at the end. Otherwise, you will fail. So you need to make sure that she gets the finishing blow, which is why I just did that 1 TOC at the end right there, and then Little Red comes in, and then boom, done. So that is all that I need to say right here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go ahead and play the actual fucking footage of the video of the thing where they're going through that cutscene. Yeah. Enjoy Roland and Gabora. That is all for me now, ladies and gentlemen. Chesed is probably going to be in the next video. Just wanted to give you guys an update of where I am right now. Couldn't do a natural recording, unfortunately, but it is what it is, and I was able to get it done. So, there we go. Moving further into the story and all this other fun shit in the game, shall we?
계십니까? 책을 몇 권 좀 들고 와봤습니다.
거기 대충 놔둬. 순서대로 살펴볼 테니까.
붉은 안개님, 제가 전에는 몰라 뵙고 말이 심했습니다.
알랑방귀 낄 필요 없어. 어차피 이곳에서 너나 나나 같은 처지니까.
근데 정말 불근한 게 맞아? 난 그 명성만 지겹게 들었지 활동 구역이 아예 달라서 본 적이 없거든.
믿든 말든 편할 대로 생각해. 붉은 안개니 뭐니 껍데기에 불과하니까.
아니 뭐 못 믿겠다는 건 아니고 붉은 안개와 함께 있다는 게 실감이 안 나서.
난 첫 번째 삶에서 동료들을 지키다 죽었어.
외곽의 연구실에서?
그래. 그리고 다시 깨어나 예전의 기억이 흐릿한 채 로보토미에서 일을 한 거고. 넌 어디서 활동했는데?
난 도시 동부.
난 서부였어. 서로 볼 일 없을 만하네.
붉은 안개의 전설 중에 궁금한 거 하나 있는데 질문 받습니까?
뭔데?
단신으로 검지 대행자 5명을 썰었다는 거 말입니다.
아, 검지. 오랜만에 듣네. 뒷골목의 더러운 호칭들. 엿 같은 기억들. 맞아. 정확히는 검지의 대행자 5이랑 전령 3의 멱을 딴 적이 있지.
역시 대단합니다. 확인차 전령 이야기는 안 했는데 정확하네.
밖은 10년이 흘렀다고 했나? 도시와 뒷골목은 여전하지?
돈 없는 사람끼리 서로 죽이고 빼앗기고 언제 어떻게 당할지 모른 채 살아가야 한다는 거?
진짜 여전하네.
당연히 10년 전이나 지금이나 방식은 달라졌어도 본질은 같아.
난 그걸 바꾸고 싶어서 그 지랄을 했는데 변함없다니 헛웃음이 나오네.
그래도 뒷골목마다 해맨팡팡이라는 샌드위치 프랜차이즈가 생겼는데 이게 삶의 질을 굉장히 올려주고 있어.
네가 납치되어서 못 먹은 스페셜 샌드위치를 판다는 걸?
그렇지.
나아진 점이 그나마 있다고 하니 다행이네. 난 뒷골목이 싫어. 그곳에서 태어나 어떻게든 살아남아온 입장에서 내일이 지옥이었지.
몇 구 출신이었는데?
23구.
인정합니다.
옛날 기억이 떠오르니 속이 쓰려오네. 내 짝한테 술이나 빌리러 가볼까? 들고 온 책은 알아서 정리할 테니 가봐.
그래. 지금은 더 이야기할 수 있는 상황이 아닌 것 같네.
아, 이 책은 고마워.
내일인걸 뭐. 그리고 한 가지만 더.
또 뭔데?
내 짜오한테 술 빌리러 간다는 거 나도
그러던가.